Hey, everybody, welcome to the last episode of the Demons Behind Me radio show for the year. It is Christmas Eve, so want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Hope you get to spend it with your family and friends and enjoy yourself. Tonight we have a special guest, Jesse Colan. He's going to be joining us, and remember, we are an inspirational clothing company. Feel free to go to www.demonsbehindme.com, check out all our latest gear, and check us out on social media as well. And we hope that you guys have been enjoying our stories of hope and motivation and recovery and everything like that. And we'll be back in the new year to bring you more shows. We're always here on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So, yeah, we'll be right back after this commercial break. And welcome back to the Demons Behind Me radio show. It is our final episode of the year. I hope you all got your Demons Behind Me gear. If you didn't, I don't know why, because it's the best thing out. I'm just saying. Give the gift of hope and inspiration and recovery and all that sort of thing. And as promised, we have a special guest. This is actually somebody who goes way back with Jim. So we are very happy to have Jesse Colan. I'm going to actually throw it to Jim right now, since you guys went so far back. And yeah, go ahead, Jim.
What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm really happy that you agreed to come on the show and share your story. And just to give our listeners a little bit of a background, you and I, we've known each other our whole lives. I think you mentioned before, you knew me before you even knew you knew me.
Yep.
It's because our fathers were basically best friends in high school. And I was the oldest of my siblings, and Jesse, you're somebody that I looked up to, like the older, cooler cousin or older, cooler brother. So everything you did, man, I wanted to do. And it's still that way, man. And I'm really happy that you're on the show, and I'm really happy that you're here to share your story. And I'm really excited because I've never heard this story from you. And, I want to give you that opportunity to share that. And I'll let you dive in and start wherever you want to get started.
Yeah, man.
Right on. Well, first of all, guys, it's an honor to be able to chat with y'all. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, Jimmy and, you and I are, we go way back. Our dads raised hell together, and, we kind of kept it going pretty much. I appreciate you saying that, because, me saying back to you, it's the same thing. I look up to you. You're a great guy, and I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.
So yeah, July 4th will be a decade that I have been clean and basically free from my demons. That's definitely what it is. So July 4th will be 10 years. I'll be a decade clean. So I'm pretty thankful and definitely proud of myself for that one. It wasn't easy, I'll tell you that. I started. Well, let's see. I'm an extremist. So the dangerous sports, the crazier the better. The more hurt I could get seemed to be my calling. Adrenaline junkie. If that's what you want, yeah, that's exactly what you call it. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So just like I know it happens to a lot of people, I busted myself up pretty good with motocross and skiing, and I broke my back way back when in a big air competition for skiing, and I think I was 15, 14, something like that, and that's kind of where I want to say a lot of the painkillers and stuff, what have you started. Doctors so quick say, here, take this.
Sure.
This makes you feel good. And then once you get better, you feel a little lost. And my biggest problem back then is I didn't know what that feeling was, the feeling of being addicted to something, going through withdrawals. I didn't understand why I didn't feel well. So, me being me, I get hurt again. Doctors say, here you go, take this. And that went on and on for some years, between racing and whatever sport I got hurt in. I don't know if I'm that good at it because I seem to get hurt a lot. But I guess, for me, just pushing harder and harder and going bigger and bigger was better. Mm-hmm. And so, that was the ultimate starting of my demise, if that's what you want to call it. So, fast forwarding a little bit, to being 18, 19, I was a partier, drinking and whatever. At that time, my drug of choice is whatever you got. Anything to make my brain move faster, or at the time I thought it would make me sharper and, crisper. And, I was listening to your guys' episode from last week, and I know that the lady was talking about, cocaine. It makes you drink. You can drink longer or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or it just kind of gives you that extra oomph.
Yeah, it sobers you up so you can drink more. It's fantastic.
Exactly. So, but for me, that stuff pushed me harder, and it made me want to go bigger. And so I used it in the beginning for more, which is crazy, for more of the sports and the stuff that I was doing, which, anybody, I would think that people could agree that, it, at the time, you think it amplifies you and makes you better at what you're doing or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I started off as an upper person, and it just, to me, me being faster, and I'm already a hyper person as it is, if you can't tell. Going 190 miles an hour versus my regular 100 miles an hour was great. So I kind of transitioned from, being hurt off, taking painkillers to cure the pain, but the uppers and that kind of stuff kind of stuck with me for a while. I did that through college, and towards the, end of college, I was a bouncer at bars. So, you want to be sharp and on point. It wasn't up until about, I want to say in my early 20s, I got hurt again, and the doctors yanked away the painkillers. And I remember I was bouncing in a bar, and I didn't feel right because I was off of painkillers. So I started drinking. And then, of course, this was at a strip club. So, there's shit everywhere. Am I allowed to say that? I'm sorry if I don't know if you want to say that.
You're wide open.
Yeah, well,
kids are in bed.
Roger that. So yeah, I was working in a strip club, and I wasn't feeling right, and somebody said, "Here, try this." And it happened to be heroin. So, I did that. I snorted that, and for some odd reason, my body absolutely enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it. I think I was hooked from then, but there was a whole lot more stuff that, had happened to me. I wasn't like straight full-blown addict. I liked that. Mm-hmm. It definitely was cheaper than trying to find painkillers. And, I'm going to fast forward a little bit more because, dabbling here and there. I don't think at that time I was completely, hooked where I needed it to survive. Actually, I wasn't. I know I wasn't. So, being a bouncer in a strip club in my early 20s, I didn't know where I was going in life. So I love motorcycles. I love bikes. I figured, why not go to MMI? So I packed up and I shipped off to Motorcycle Mechanics Institute in Arizona. Got there, did my thing out there, graduated, and partied, the whole time still, while I was going through school and everything. And I got popped in a drug test at the school. So my options were do a kind of like an outpatient type deal, or get kicked out of school. So, of course, I picked the outpatient. It was just me out there, so I didn't know, I had no family, everybody's back here in New York. And so I started going to those classes. And now that I think about it, it still didn't hit me that I had a problem, which is, now I can sit back and, smack myself around about it. But to be honest with you, I really didn't think I had a problem, nor did I understand what I was doing to myself or, what was going on. So I was in and out of that class the rest of the duration of my, going to the school out there. Having graduated there from the school and getting through the program, still didn't, nothing quite clicked. It didn't stick. So I came back to New York and started working at a Harley dealership. And I stumbled across a guy who could get me painkillers. Off the races again, I was buying painkillers. So I met my beautiful wife. Actually, you know what? I'm going to kind of get confusing real quick. I met my wife in New York. We kind of had, it was a love at first sight, but it was one of those, we were really young and I didn't know exactly what I was doing. So I left. And when I came back, I found out that she was still around. So we, got together. 3 months later, I find out, my wife, my now wife was pregnant. All the while, I was taking painkillers and stuff. So, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's an echo because I feel like somebody's saying something.
No, you're good, man.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, no
I
worries
just kind of heard a.
you're totally fine. Yeah, continue. You're good.
Oh, Roger. So my son, so my now wife was pregnant with my son. So I'm working at the dealership and still playing with the painkillers and stuff. And I found out my son had he was born with gastroschisis, which is his intestines were in, like they found this all out during sonograms and stuff, that his intestines were on the outside of his body. Mm-hmm. So I didn't handle that all too well. And, somebody that as an addict, you find security in your blankie, your drugs. Mm-hmm. The painkillers got expensive. So I switched over, I started buying heroin.
Seems to be
that was
that seems to be a common story with I've heard that a lot with people that get started on painkillers or whatever from their doctor, and then it gets expensive, and then they switch to heroin. So yeah,
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
and that is exactly, I want to, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I want to say that is almost 100% accurate on why why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's fortunate to have money falling out of their ears. Those, so, I'm a worker. I work my ass off, but I couldn't afford it. And, here I am. I got a pregnant girlfriend. He's sick. So I couldn't handle it well. So I sought comfort in drugs. When he was born, it was trying because, he was in the NICU for like 3 months. And, I tried to seek comfort in, my now wife, but she didn't understand what I was going through or, the actually extremity of my addiction, which I still had no clue that that's what was going on with me. That's the part that it drives me. Now it drives me crazy that I was so blind to the fact that I had a serious problem. Mm-hmm. So fast forward a few years, I'm still drugging and doing my thing, but I had, kind of progressed into, I started shooting it up, which after that, it just kind of all went downhill. I finally realized I had problems. I remember, talking to my wife on our wedding day, and Jim, you were there. I almost didn't get married. I had to have somebody drive from Syracuse all the way up to where we got married to bring me drugs. At that point, I knew I was basically screwed. I knew I had serious problems. I could, I can't, I almost couldn't stand up and marry the love of my life because I was physically sick. I mean, if I didn't get it, I probably would have canceled the wedding. And that would have been, devastating because there was a lot of people that came from all over the place. And, to this day, my wife she's my guardian angel. I mean, she knew more about my addiction than I even knew I had. And she still, she saw the real me. So, I'm going to fast forward a little bit more because there's a whole bunch of crap going in and on between there where I'm a drug addict, So I had tried a couple different rehabs, the 14 days, the 28 days, and I do good for a little while, and then my demon would, tap me on the shoulder. I'd look left, he'd dip right. I'd look right, he'd be right there, and I'd be off to the races again. I did, and it was the dog chasing the tail for a good 3 years. I just couldn't get it figured out. I think I'd have it, and then, there again was my demon just saying, come play with me. And I was weak-minded, and I let him, I let him win. I start dancing with the devil every time. Finally, I apologize, I keep fast-forwarding.
No, you're fine.
We were blessed with my beautiful daughter, Bella. And she was 6 months old. And I went to a rehab, and it was like an extended stay rehab. It was like a 3 to 6 month program. Me being me, because I just, when I do something or I see something, I just go all in. I actually completed the program in 2 months. The people at the rehab were kind of taken back on how fast I got through everything. And, maybe, I don't know, at that time, maybe I was just, cheating my way through, but I really thought that I had it this time. I stayed on as a counselor, and I stayed for an extra 3 weeks, and I counseled, and I helped the patients coming in because, a person that goes through what I've gone through or we've gone through per se, it's very hard to listen to a counselor that's read a bunch of books and tells me how I'm feeling when they have no idea how I'm feeling. And I know, I don't know about you guys, but I know that that's how a bunch of people feel. How are you supposed to dictate my life if you have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on in my head? Because you read it in a book. And nothing against that, because I know they're trying, but to me, it was very difficult to relate with somebody like that. And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody that's trying to help people, but I guess maybe some of the counselors that I had were very black and white. There was no gray area. It was, well, this isn't what it said in the book. Okay, I'm sorry, my brain isn't in your book. So, like I said, I'm not knocking any counselors or anything like that. It's just the counselors that I had, it was very difficult to relate with them. So I stayed on as a counselor, and I remember it like it was yesterday. November 20th, I got a phone call from my wife while I was in rehab stating that my brother had overdosed and passed away. I just remember dropping to my knees, and I stayed there for hours. And I just couldn't figure out what the hell happened. So, Jimmy, he's my stepbrother. But you know how I am about family. He was family. He was my brother. So when I came back home, for some odd reason, that side of the family, so his parents, they kind of pushed all the blame on me, said this was all my fault. So when you hear that it's all your fault so many times, you begin to believe it. So I really thought it was my fault, and I relapsed very badly. At that point, I had ruined all relationships with my mother, my family, my friends, my brother, the youngest brother. I had crushed every relationship. Nobody had faith in me. I was just the loser Jesse. And, it really, that's when I think I started to hit my rock bottom. And unfortunately, I didn't get positive after that. I started going to self-loathing. Woe is me. You know what? I'm going to hurt myself versus mess with anybody else. And at that point, all I wanted to do was join my brother. What really was the breaking point was I still maintained a job, worked my ass off. But what I started doing, because, during the duration, my paychecks would go straight into my wife's bank account because I wasn't trusting with money. So I started justifying the fact that I bust my ass for money, and I started writing checks to myself from my wife's, checking or checkbook. So here's the kicker. My wife ended up having me arrested. She, she had a meeting with the troopers and the cops and stuff, and, wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to ruin my future. Mm-hmm. So she ended up doing something. It was kind of like a scare tactic, but a real life situation scare tactic, where they had arrested me, and I ended up having to go to jail. It was only for a week, but during that week, I was totally detoxing, and I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. They're not the nicest people in jail. They have no compassion for you.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
They're not
gonna feed you meds in jail to make you feel better. I can assure you of that.
Right. I wanted somebody to come in and pat me on the butt, rub my back.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
That didn't happen. I was getting sick, and they hosed me down. That was my comfort. They, took the fire hose to me. So I dealt with that for 1 week straight, and I remember calling my wife probably once or twice every day, begging for her to get me out of there. And I remember being so mad at her. I was so pissed. But now, and she just told, basically she gave me the tough love. I know it killed her. I know it did. Now I know it did. At the time, I thought she was, sitting back eating popcorn. Just, he's gone, yay. That was not the case. I broke her. It broke her heart. And I think that's when I realized, and I had finally hit my lowest low, was when I figured out that my own wife put me in jail. And nobody was going to help me. That's when I made the turnaround. That's when I actually sat in my cell and stared my demon right in the face. And, had a straight up argument and figured our shit out. I took control. I love your guys' slogan. I put that shit behind me. And I will not, for the life of me, let him come back. I've worked, my ass off my whole life. Now the only thing that matters to me is family and keeping my children happy and making sure my guardian angel, my wife, is happy. That's basically my whole purpose now in life, is to protect my family and change everything that I did. And I'll tell you what, 10 years now, I'm still working at it.
It's that's an amazing story, and 10 years, congratulations. And I know as well that's a daily battle, and it's never a battle that you're gonna be done with. You're gonna be fighting that battle every day for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, that's what we do. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jim here real quick. He's got some things he wants to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Thank you, Jesse. A lot of stuff I didn't know, so I really appreciate you sharing. And just so everybody knows, man, you are such a good dad, and I was so happy when my daughter and son got to play with your daughter and son this summer, and you got a beautiful family, and big shout out to Courtney and Damien and Bella. But one thing that I'm curious of, and I know you've shared it with me, what do you do every day to keep the fight going and keep winning that battle?
So, my everyday is the biggest thing that I've learned in my time of going back and forth to recovery and then not being late and then being late. So my biggest thing is I refuse to forget my lowest of the low. The second you forget all those terrible things, the insomnia, the restlessness, your mind racing, just the absolute worst time of your life. You cannot forget that, because the second you forget is when you slip up. There's one thing, you know what? Everybody, there's always like a saying or something that always sticks. Or does that make sense? There's always something that somebody will say that you'll never forget. And I remember I was talking to one of my counselors, and now this is from like one of the first times that I was trying to get my shit together. This counselor was awesome. He had done ass ton of time. He in jail. He had been through the ringer, and he was, I'm an average gym goer. So, and this dude was he was a monster, just a big dude. And he had told me, as big as he gets, as strong as he gets, his demon is in the other room doing push-ups, getting stronger, getting just as strong as you think you are, waiting for that 1 ounce of just that second you show a sign of weakness to jump on your ass and get you. And I will never, ever forget that. To me, it just made sense,
Mm-hmm.
Your demon is right there. He's right behind you. The second you slip up, he's on your ass. He'll get you.
Mm-hmm.
So you constantly got to be on your A game. It's never going to get easy. It might get a little bit easier, but it'll never be, I used to look at people and think, how do these people go with their everyday life? How is that person driving a car right now without needing something? It's totally possible. That's the greatest part. It is 100% possible to do it. And I really never thought that I would be able to get there. Even my doctors, because I see a doctor because I have ADD, so I get a monthly prescription of, medicine to keep my head in line, because come to find out, the reason why, not the sole reason, but a lot of the things that I thought was helping me is it kind of made me focus. I actually needed a medication to help me focus. Mm-hmm. And, drugs weren't the way to do it. So, when I met this doctor, she thought I was a lost cause. So always remembering the fact that, it will always get better. You just got to work at it.